Scotty Reed here with a Black Talk Radio News Report. This is part 2 of the last segment I did on GMOs, cannabis, and homosexuality. I need to issue some corrections as I have been made aware since I made that video of new information that I did not have before. And if we are to progress in intellectual thought, especially in the black community, we need to issue corrections when we come across data that shows that what we were saying before was incorrect. So I stand corrected. Gallup has been tracking the LGBT status of Americans, and it appears they've been doing it for a little over 5 years, maybe longer. But the studies that I found go back to about 5 years. And so this latest one, though, it does provide some valuable information. It does say, and let me just pull it up for you. And of course, I will post links to this. But I'm looking at the 2017 study that was conducted, or poll, I should say, was conducted in January. And it says that since 2012, there has been an increase from 3.5% to 4.1% in 2016. So this poll came out in January of 2017, shows a slight increase. Some of the highlights of this, it says that LGBT identification is higher among women. Now, I also made the incorrect statement about the U.S. Census not asking the LGBT status of Americans in the U.S. Census, and they do not per se, but they are able to identify same-sex couples who are married because some of these states have legalized it. Therefore, they can identify LGBT households from the census, but it's not specifically asking them for their sexual orientation. Now, the allegation that I have been dealing with is specific to the black community, as it pertains to the allegations being made by members of the Nation of Islam, who said that in the inner cities that homosexuality is on the rise, and they have really been focusing on homosexual males, saying that cannabis is being engineered by the U.S. government, I guess in partnership with these corporations, to make more men, black men, gay. Well, even this data does not support that. It breaks down self-identifying gay people by education, by economics, their economic status, how much money they make, as well as by race. Now, interestingly, the sharpest increase among these people self-identifying as LGBT is the increase is not among black men, it's among women, Asians, and Hispanics. So it says LGBT identification increases are more pronounced in women than in men. In 2012, 3.5% of women identified as LGBT compared to the 3.4% of men. By 2016, LGBT identification in women increased to 4.4% compared with 3.7% among men. So a 0.3%, very minuscule increase among men. I still haven't gotten to race yet. It says these changes mean that the portion of women among LGBT identified adults rose slightly from 52% to 55%. Now, it does break it down by race. Let me see. Among racial and ethnic minorities, the largest increase since 2012 in LGBT identification occurred among Asians, 3.5% to 4.9%, and Hispanics, 4.3% to 5.4%. Among whites, the comparable figures are 3.2% to 3.6%. Black Americans show only a slight increase from 4.4% to 4.6%. And among other racial and ethnic groups, the increase was from 6% to 6.3%. So there's actually been no increase, according to Gallup, by black men, because they said the largest increase are among women. And black people overall are not significantly identifying as LGBT. Now, none of this tells me, well, what's the cause of these people coming out as gay? What's the cause of that? These people self-identifying? It doesn't ask them if they smoke weed or not. It doesn't ask them anything of the sort. It doesn't make any kind of determination on this increase, but we can make educated guesses. Now, as it breaks it down by baby boomers, traditionalists, Generation Xers, as well as, what's the other group? Generation Xers. Let me pull it up just a second. Gen Xers and millennials. So it's not 1950. It is a more, let's just say, a less hostile environment towards gay people today than it was back in the 1950s during the baby boomer generation. So it's not, we can't say that anything is causing more people to be gay. We can't point to any one thing to say that, okay? Only we can point to the environment, the political environment, the social environment, and people today are more accepting of LGBT people, and, you know, they don't feel the need to stay in the closet, so to speak. So I did want to issue that correction because I like to engage in intellectual honesty. There is no shame when you don't have the information correct, but you should do a follow-up and issue the correction. You know, like they do in newspapers. When they get something wrong, you should come out with a correction. So this is my correction on the U.S. Census. Although it doesn't ask for people's identification, sexual orientation per se, it does identify same-sex households. But I stand by my point, and this is even bolstering my point, that you can't say that black people, particularly black men, are being homosexualized by this government conspiracy to engineer weed to make them gay. There's no data supporting that. So that's, you know, again, we have to ask critical questions. We have to do proper research. And so that's all I have to say on the matter. As far as I'm concerned, this issue is closed until somebody can point me to some of the sources, government whistleblowers, employees who work at these grow facilities growing cannabis, that's coming out and with undercover video and showing us how they are contaminating the cannabis to make people gay. And, you know, I don't know what you can spray on spray on cannabis to make people gay. I just, you know, again, I covered most of this in the first video on this topic. All right. Thank you for watching. This has been Scotty Reed with another Black Talk Radio News Report. Peace.